Introducing Ivotion Digital Dentures from Ivoclar. Experience unparalleled precision and efficiency with Ivoclar's state-of-the-art digital denture workflow.
Ivotion is available in their patent-pending monolithic disc that combines denture base and tooth materials in one seamless puck.
Ivotion is also available as standalone discs, Ivotion Base, Dent, and Dent Multi, that all in a 98mm width to fit your favorite milling machine.
With Ivotion, you can streamline your lab's processes, reduce production time, and enhance your patient satisfaction.
These things look amazing. Elevate your lab's capabilities with Ivotion Digital Denture, where innovation meets perfection. Discover the future of dentures today with Ivoclar. And as always, we thank you for your continued support of the podcast. Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 331 of Voices from the Bench. I'm not Barb.
And I'm not Elvis.
Yay, it worked.
Elvis is in the room.
Sometimes I feel like we just need to mix it up, and then I don't know what else to do. I just kind of go with it. So.
All right. Well,
how the hell are you, Barb?
We are going with it. I am great. It's Saturday. All is good here in Florida. Life is good.
Yeah.
I'm not burnt out anymore, and I get to talk to you on this lovely morning, so I'm happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
What got you over the burnt out stage? Could you pinpoint it, or do you think it's just, I don't know, time?
I don't know. I think it's just time. Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's like anything in life. You get through it. You get over it. So.
Yeah. Did you slow down or?
No.
Okay. So it's not that.
No. What about you?
I'm doing good. Busy as always. All over the state. Nonstop kind of thing. Got to see the Deadpool movie the other day. Had a great time with that.
I'm going today.
I know. It's so fun. Highly recommend.
Know.
Not teeth talk, everybody, but go see the Deadpool movie. It's a lot of fun.
Right on.
Unless you're easily offended. Maybe not.
I'm not. And I love Ryan Reynolds, so I'm good.
There you go.
I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah. For fans of late 90s, early 2000 Fox comic book movies, it's quite the throwback to those. It's a lot of fun.
All right. So, let's talk about this week.
But first, last week's episode, we talked about the race for the future, and Barb and I were going to continue to mention it all the way up to the race that's happening on September 15th in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, Barb, this is where we start to beg people, so please, please, please.
3 pleases?
3.
Yeah.
And next week will be 4. The next week after that will be 5 until we do a whole hour of it.
All right.
But go to dentallabfoundation.org and click the Donate Now button. Now, you can either support Barb Warner on her solo run, or the abutments, which is, of course, Mark Williamson, Bobby Kenny, and myself. Or, if you can't decide which one of us is better or greater, you can put Voices from the Bench, and they'll just split the money between the two of us.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and now let's remember, we don't get this money. It all goes to the same place. So it's just really a friendly competition on who raises the most money. So please go donate today. Now.
Uh-oh, looks like we have a Golden Bench Club member.
The best of the best, above all the rest. They are the definition of amazing dental technicians. They gave us 5 stars. That makes them superstars. Welcome to the Golden Bench Club.
We do. We had one entry this week, and this is from someone's name who I can't even begin to pronounce, but I'll try, but then I'll spell it. Norman Salium. It's NOMANSALEEM.
So it's Noman Salim.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. I like to add my own letters. But
I know you do. That's
Norman
fair.
Salim writes, it's simple and great. I am from Pakistan. I am a dental technologist, and I want to join your Golden Bench Club. Well, Norman Salim, welcome to the Golden Bench Club.
Welcome to the Golden Bench Club.
Yay, welcome from Pakistan. We love that.
How cool is that? We should start making a list of where everybody's from in the club. That would be neat.
Awesome. Well, that's our farthest one yet, so.
I think so. So this week, we get to leave the island of Majorca, Spain, as we move to America's other exotic location, known as Orlando, Florida.
Yay.
Not as nice as Majorca, but still pretty nice compared to Indiana.
Yep.
So back in early June, the wonderful people at Jensen Dental, you know, the ones behind MIYO, hosted Barb and I at their booth at the FDLA Symposium. And a huge thanks to Jensen for allowing us to set up, and another huge thanks to the Florida Dental Laboratory Association for putting on yet another great meeting.
Right on.
So first up, we had past podcast guest back on, Enja Dorch. I think she said we could just call her Dorch. Enja Dorch from Sakr Dental Studios. Enja is a FDLA board member who talks about implementing automation in her lab, which includes milling, printing, and even case entry, and their move from 5 buildings into 1.
Next, we finally get Bart Cothran on our podcast. We see all that Bart does online with teaching labs all about MIYO, but we finally get the story behind the man. Bart grew up on a farm in the South and found dental technology basically to get out of the heat. After owning his own lab for 28 years, Bart is now at Winter Springs Dental Lab, but he also travels to teach others the greatness of MIYO. Bart shares a lot of his tips on getting the best out of this amazing liquid ceramic.
And then we wrap up the episode with a gentleman who is on his second round of being on the FDLA board, Fernando DeLeon.
Yes.
Fernando is a very passionate technician that truly believes in giving back to a profession that has allowed him a great life. He talks about going into dental school in Guatemala, why he decided not to be a dentist, opening his own lab, and what he's learned working on zirconia over all these years. So join us as we chat with Enja, Bart, and Fernando, and a very special guest that pops in. Voices from the Bench. The interview.
Can't even try the last name.
Just go Enja Dorch.
Oh, Dorch, that's
Dorch,
better.
that's
Dorch.
fine.
Can we say that when we announce you? Because
Enja Dorch.
Yeah, like ninja, but Enja.
Enja the Ninja.
The Dorch.
Dorch. Enja the Ninja Dorch.
nice entrance.
Enja Dorch, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yay.
This has been a long time
How long?
since you've been on.
A few years, I think.
I would say a lot more than a few years.
Were you like one of our first
or
ones?
3
I
years.
hope
No,
not.
it was in the middle, but it was the 3Shape versus ExoCAD episode,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm happy to say was always one of our most popular episodes
Awesome.
because of the topic and how
Yeah.
the different perspectives everybody brought. But let's stop for a second.
Yeah, you gotta introduce
We are at the
FDLA.
FDLA meeting 2024 at the good friends of the Jensen Dental Group.
Yes.
Invited
Thank
us,
you,
gave us a
Jensen.
nice little spot. I think I mentioned it a few times, but we're right by the front door.
We are,
Can't miss
and
us.
it's been a busy day. I had to go throw my shoes out, change my shoes.
Yeah.
But you were amazing today, so
Thank you.
Yeah, so Barb did a panel.
it was kind of a panel.
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
hard
really
to call it a panel, an audience participation
Yeah,
discussion.
it was kind of like CalLab Open Forum.
Yep.
Yep.
And a lot of topics were covered.
Yeah.
Enja was very vocal.
Thank you. I had to participate.
Yeah. So let's
share the
backtrack a
knowledge.
little bit. Your lab, Sakr, is that right?
Sakr Dental
Yeah.
Arts. We're here in Winter Park, Florida, which is
So you're
10
pretty
minutes
close.
north of
Okay.
Orlando.
Oh,
you
so do you
own-
even stay here, or do you just drive home?
This year I did, actually.
Oh,
for
okay.
you.
Good for you.
She's had a lot of board duties too.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
so
on the board?
she's been busy.
Yeah, I'm on the
yes,
board.
know
yes,
that.
yes.
One of the reasons I got a hotel room today is tomorrow at 8 o'clock I have to
You have
announce
to
a
introduce
speaker,
the
so I
speaker.
cannot be late.
Oh.
That's what I said. I'm like, I told Elvis, I got a lot of board duties to
Yeah.
do. But so one of the topics was automation.
Yes.
And you had a lot of things to say about it. Tell us a little bit about how it's working, what's not working.
Mm-hmm.
You had a really good point about, I think you said, when you walk in the door in the morning and one of your burrs broke or like something really bad happened and nothing got done. I thought that was a great point.
Yes, I think automation is kind of the next wave, right, in printing and milling, etc. I think metal printing is kind of in its infant stages.
Sure.
It's
Do
coming.
Do you really? Wow.
It's right
And-
next door to us.
Yeah.
Huh.
Also, automation, like, you
Yeah.
know, for resin printing, milling, automation is kind of next stage in the industry that is kind of getting worked
Sure.
on. We do have had mills with multi-puck changes and, you know, or
Yeah.
3-4
Those have been
pucks
around
and
for a while,
etc.
yeah.
But haven't been really like utilized. So first thing is volume, really, right? If I have somebody using it, utilizing it, running it all day today, I don't really have that much left to run overnight. So
So you're saying you had multi-puck mills that you weren't utilizing?
not necessarily. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just had enough volume, enough machines to just run it through the day.
So you don't have to utilize
We don't
it
have
at night
to.
if
You
you
know,
don't
we'll
need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know let like one more run before we leave.
Yeah.
And then that's it for the day. That was one of the first reasons, just the volume. The second is that we have had issues where, you know, you trust the machine
Yeah.
And you go, please, please,
And-
don't do anything wrong.
and, you know, burr breaks or, you know,
Build
the-
plate doesn't.
something
connect,
goes off,
yeah.
you know, if the puck wasn't screwed down all the way and
Yeah.
something has moved. And a lot of these milling machines, because it's big, expensive machines, they have safety built into it. A lot of the times, if a burr broke, it doesn't just put on a new burr and start milling.
Does it burr
It
with
should,
the
though.
broken burr?
No,
Does
it
it
shuts
mill
down.
with the broken burr? That's what I meant to say.
No.
No, but like, for example, one of our mills have like 3 of the same burrs as a backup, right? So the
Oh.
first burr breaks, and you expect the second burr to come in and mill. But the vendors, the company saying, okay, if the burr broke and got stuck in your puck, and then you come in with a new burr to
It's
try
gonna
to
hit
mill.
Yeah,
that
then
old
you're going to
broken.
really
You're
mess things
gonna
up. Yeah.
mess up your machine, your spindle, all these more
geez.
expensive things.
Yeah.
So the safest thing is to just basically stop and wait for somebody to come and check and say, okay, it's just a broken
Wow.
burr, no problem, just start over. Or there's a burr stuck in your puck, you know, you have to switch everything
But isn't
out.
that
Yeah.
the exact opposite of automation, though? Is if
Yes.
you have to stop and send
We were
somebody
talking
there?
about like automating like all night long throughout the night, and basically
Yeah.
how that helps laboratories get
Yeah.
more done and more efficient. And what Enja said was, but
But
if
yeah,
a
you
burr
just
breaks
have
or
to.
something
Yeah.
like that
Be
happens,
careful.
you're kind of really
Yeah.
screwed.
I find it interesting we're all talking about automation suddenly, but isn't milling an automation?
Yeah.
Isn't printing the automation? So
Well, it
we
was
were talking
about-
about automating automation.
Correct.
So-
So even further automating.
Yeah,
You know,
so-
instead of just changing one puck at a time, now you're milling, you know, 3, 4, up to 8, 9 at a time.
Yeah.
And printing. So we,
What do you have, by the way? What mill? Do you mind sharing?
yeah, I don't mind. We mainly zirconzons.
That was your whole big thing
We
on
were,
that last
yeah.
episode. Yeah.
We have great partnership with Ivoclar, so we have
Same.
some PM7s.
yeah.
And it's just experience, right? Once you figure those things out, you know it happens, you know, kind of do the maintenance, follow the rules, talk to them, work with
And
them.
that's a big point.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can start trusting your machines,
Yep.
right? You can't just automatically like, oh, it doesn't work, or it works great. Like,
Yeah.
you have to get used to your machines, and then you can kind of work on automation and do, you know, 2 pucks overnight or 3
Yep.
pucks overnight. Now I have confidence to do 4 or 5.
Yeah.
On the printing side, it came a little later than the milling.
Sure.
And I think a lot of the bugs have been kind of worked out. So we have actually Hay Gears
We have
automation.
Oh, they
yeah,
take it
same.
off and-
Everything nests. You can get
Yes,
it. Oh, it's
it
fantastic.
nests for you.
Just keeps going.
And you just keep
Yep.
you know, the model built, and
So
then it
the-
prints.
The build plate goes up and something scrapes it off. And
Yeah,
then what
it has-
goes into an
And then it
alcohol
goes back
wash?
down and keeps going. No, you got to do that when you come in.
Yeah.
We
It
have
just
a-
has a little bucket
Yeah.
that it drops.
It's okay if it sits there unwashed for a few hours?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay,
that was
yeah.
one of
It's
my
working for
questions.
us.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
It's working for us.
Yeah.
That's
So
for sure.
yeah, before we bought the
Why
printer,
can't they fill that basket full of alcohol and wash it
because it melts it
if you leave it in there too long?
Yeah, 'cause it, like,
overnight.
goes
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
these are why I'm not in charge of this.
Yeah, but that's a great thought process. I could get where you would
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah, it
for
would be
sure.
even easier.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's mostly cured, but not 100%. So
Yeah.
afterwards, you clean it and you cure it. So before we even bought our machines, we printed some, we cured them, everything, and we scanned them back into the computer, and we meshed it to the original scan
Oh, to see how it
to
looks.
see how accurate
Good
it was and
call.
how well it prints. We have not done that in like 2-3 years now, but
Wow.
we did do that originally, and we like the quality.
That's a great idea just to do it for any models to
Yeah.
compare.
Oh, yeah.
Even
know if
for
anyone's doing that,
calibration
yeah.
And
stuff.
you threw out the calibration word today, which really tripped my trigger because you don't hear that a lot, but it's so important.
Yes,
I
and
was like,
different
she knows
machines.
what she's talking about.
Different
Yeah.
machines have different schedules. Some of the machines don't, like we have a carbon also, doesn't really need calibration.
Because they
It's
do it
They do
remotely,
it
right?
automatic or
Yeah.
remote or
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
Some of them needs to be calibrated every day. So it just depends on the machine. You just have to know your machine
Can
and
you over-calibrate?
maintenance. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Like if I wanted
think
to
once
calibrate
it
like every hour?
sees the once it sees the sweet spot, you're there. It
You'll be
aligns.
wasting a
but
lot
I
of
guess
time,
you
but
could.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
The most accurate printer in the world.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be that person, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that job. No,
What about
thanks.
automation for like even incoming casework and data entry? I've heard a few labs talking about that. Are you doing that? Are you doing?
Well, I'm doing a lot of name dropping today, but
Yeah, go
we
for it.
have worked with Evident.
Yeah.
We didn't, go through with it. It just doesn't quite make sense at our level. But Evident offered to do that, to take our digital cases, create some kind of program or script that
Maybe
converts
that's what I heard about.
and
Yeah.
puts that into our lab software specifically under, the correct
Like it will
material and
automatically
product
go
and
to
doctor. Yeah.
3Shape Connect and Itero and Medit and pull all it down and enter it into your software automatically. I
So
hear.
basically, you just have to print the work ticket or
Pretty
make
much,
sure
and
it's
put it
right.
with the
and then-
pan.
yeah.
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 I don't know
never
how
heard
they
about
figure
that.
out all the
That's
codes
great.
for each individual lab.
That
and
would
all
be
the
tough.
weird stuff.
If you've got, 100 different products and all of that.
I think
but
they have to actually program
yeah,
it.
you'd probably have to
And
work with them a
that's
long
what you
time.
kind of
Yeah.
pay for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So how big is your lab?
Almost or a little over 100. We just hover around that right now.
I did not realize you were that big. Wow.
I don't know if the episode came out before or after. I visited her lab when I was with Preet.
Yes, you did.
It is so cool because it's like, I want to say bungalow. Is that the right word?
Little duplexes,
Dude,
yeah.
they're like, how many are there? 4?
5.
5 that go down
Wow.
the street. You literally have to leave a building to go to the next building. And they're by department, right?
Yeah, basically.
That's kinda
It's
cool.
really neat.
Yeah.
I
Who
think
came
it's
up
cool.
with that?
Well, nobody came up with that.
You
we
started
were
in one.
Yeah,
And then
we
you just kept
started in
buying?
one little room. We grew, and we're,
Wow.
don't
long
have
have-
space, so we take over a little more space. So we just kept expanding.
That's crazy.
And now it's, each building's basically a department. So our first building's kind of check-in, model room, implant. So all the work moves to the next department, which is the CAD/CAM, 3D printing,
Yep.
milling. Our third building is actually our denture department, which is mostly analog, but we
Wow.
do digital dentures, digital night guards. 3Shape's been kind of
Yep.
good at removable work over ExoCAD,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So it's mostly 3Shape. And then our fourth buildings are porcelain finishing.
Which one are
shipping
you in, or
department.
do you go to all of them?
I was on third. I got kicked out of my room.
Oh, no.
And I moved to the fifth building.
Why?
Half a duplex, because they said, we need room. We need to buy more machines, and I
Yeah.
need your room, Enja.
And you're like, no.
Does work slow down when it rains?
No, we are.
Oh, you mean from going from one place
If
to
you
the
got to
next?
take a pan here to here, You might not want to do it when
That's
it's raining.
kind of funny.
Yeah,
Well, it
that
is
is
Florida,
true.
so it doesn't ever rain.
Yeah.
It's always hot.
It doesn't rain? Don't you guys have like hurricanes and stuff?
Yes,
And
that was a joke.
Oh,
But
okay.
you live in Chicago, so you wouldn't understand.
how long have you been there?
Sakr's been there about 25 years.
How
I
long have
think.
you been there?
I've been with Sakr about 8 years now.
Really? Yeah.
I worked in another lab for about 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Before I came to Sakr.
So what's your main role?
Business operations
lot of it?
manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically everything.
Yeah,
you know,
everything.
everything. We are growing, trying to kind of compartmentalize things
Yeah.
and create departments. I hired my first HR person 2 years ago. I'm very happy.
I bet you are. Yeah, you can't
You
type
were going
that on
100
two.
employees without HR?
Well, when I first joined 8 years ago, I was 30-something employees.
Still, it's a
Yeah,
lot for you need
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah, so I was HR.
Oh.
I have a business degree. I have
Okay.
an MBA from UCF, University of
Damn,
Central
that's
Florida.
very
You're a
respectful.
smart dental
Well,
technician.
thank you.
Congratulations.
So, I took a lot of business classes, management, marketing, quality control, all that
Yep,
fun
yep.
stuff. So I came in with some dental experience, technician experience, but also some business background. So
Wow.
that's when my, boss brought me on. And how we work is just, very collaboratively, very flat organization. We don't say like, oh, this person does this and this title and,
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
need help, you just go do it.
Yeah.
So we just kind of got involved in everything. So now I guess my specialty would be, more hybrids, treatment planning, talking to doctors, solving problems, but also anything to do with paperwork
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
usually kind of
Yeah.
falls on my
All the
lap.
fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compliance, HR, marketing.
So do you do
Sales.
any of the lab work anymore?
Not anymore. I was
Oh,
a
do
CAD
you-
CAM technician before.
Yeah.
Worked with Sarek Cirono for a long time.
Yeah, but do you miss it?
I just missed sitting down and just doing work.
And just doing one thing. Yeah, I could see with about 100
I used to
other
be very
things.
productive. I can
Yeah.
kick out, however many units a day,
Yep.
no
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
Even multitasking. I used to scan, design, and mill all the zirconia
Oh, really?
and Emacs at my last lab.
Yeah.
I loved it, I
Yeah.
get my work in the
That's why
morning.
you got into it. Sure.
Yeah, and just
Get
got
in, get
everything
it done.
done. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do today?
Now
you
you're
know?
HR.
I answered like
got-
20-something phone calls, I talked to this many people.
Yeah.
And you have time to be on the FDLA board.
Yeah, why'd you get involved
Yeah.
Well, actually, the FDLA called Danny, my boss, and he said, "Enja, I think you should be doing
Oh, that's
this."
nice.
So,
Well, you're really
and I
good
want to
at
be
it.
involved. I want
Yeah.
to be involved. Barbara,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about you. I
They're
go to
all the
Cal
rum-
Lab, she's
all
there.
the rumors are true.
Go to Lab Day, she's there. I come to FDLA, she's there.
Yeah.
She
And
gets
I'm like,
around.
yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
So, and I'm still young. I'm gonna probably very likely stay in the industry for so I'm looking at
Yeah, you
another
should.
30 years of working
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
jobs, and I don't want to get stagnant and stale. I
you.
want to still getting involved, and if I can do something for the industry, I
That's
also
how I
want to
feel.
do that
Yep.
too.
100%.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. We're giving back.
You know it.
Yeah.
We're doing the race for the future, so you might want to consider that. Running, biking.
Not very physical at all.
Well, okay.
There's a conversation
I'll hit you up
killer.
for a donation then.
Yes, that
Me,
I
not
can do.
him.
You mentioned digital dentures.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going in Florida? You doing a lot of them?
It's going great. So
Everybody knows Florida's the denture area.
Why?
Right? All you
Florida.
old people.
Taylor Swift.
You're
Florida.
the second person to do that to me today.
No.
Yes.
It's because she's cool. Yeah,
Whatever.
so we're building a digital denture.
Yeah, you're building it, but
whole
you've been doing it
giant
for a
room.
while?
Yeah, we started with Ivoclar and their Evotion system. But
Oh, wow. You were
That's the
milling
best.
those.
5
Yep.
years ago, I guess. And then last 2 years or so with the Carbon and Lucitone and
Yeah.
Dentsply. We do both still. Depends,
Yeah.
if
Depends
your
on...
doctors and the product requested. So a lot
Sure.
of our media dentures are printed, but if they're converting, our technicians like it milled.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it's, a little more aesthetic doctor, maybe we'll mill it because it's less work on the technician side.
So do you do any analog?
Oh, yeah, we still
Okay,
do
so
analog dentures.
So you do analog,
So you do a lot of
milled,
everything.
and printing.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a
Pretty
lot.
sweet.
That is a lot. It's kind of
What's-
hard to organize sometimes.
Which one do you do the more of? The
Probably
I
traditional.
can't tell right now because we're in the transition.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're trying to do more digitally.
Yeah.
And then also get our quality up where the doctor can't tell if
Yeah.
it's digital or analog.
That's
'Cause
the
Do you
idea.
right
tell
now,
them, like, do they have a choice? Can they say, hey, I only want digital, or I
some of
don't
them
want
do,
digital?
some of them don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of depends on their experience. Because before, when you talk about printing dentures, there's all these materials, all these printers.
Yeah.
It got a bad rap.
It did. There was
Yeah.
some really terrible material out there.
and then
for a
it just
while.
looked so cheap. It looked like a toy. So a lot of dentists kind of got turned off by
Yeah.
that.
And then we evolved.
Yeah,
right?
but Lucitone
Lucitone's
is
great.
amazing. Great product.
Yeah.
And then, Carbon and Lucitone had that partnership first. So,
Yes.
very nice validated workflow. So
For
it
us,
goes well.
It's almost, we do analog and we do printed. We don't do any of the milled, but it's decided on how we get the records. If they send us digital records and we're able to do that digital workflow, we're going to make a digital denture.
Nice.
But if you send me an analog and ask for a bite block, most likely it's going to be the traditional.
Traditional. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. My boss doesn't like doing bite blocks.
Nobody does.
I don't think anybody does. Yeah, well
Says,
said. No,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
this patient has an old denture.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
dig a little bit and find that old denture.
Yeah. Find
So,
it.
Yeah.
Totally. So what's next for the lab?
We are moving to a newer building.
Which is sad because I like your little bungalow
Yeah,
neighborhood.
I do too. I did
So
too.
you're going to make a building, a larger building, so that
Yeah,
everybody is under
it's
same
a
roof?
two-story building about a mile down the
Oh,
street.
nice.
So we're working on that now because we're basically maxed out in our current location
Yeah.
for
Sounds like
power,
you've grown,
for
yeah,
human
for
resource,
sure.
for machinery, everything basically.
Yeah.
One of those things, like if you build it, they'll
They will come.
So I think it will be good for our growth.
Yeah.
And kind of slow and steady is our kind of lifestyle, I
Yeah,
guess,
when you
culture.
get too big too fast, you can really burn it down
it's not
pretty quickly.
sustainable.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we like to hire people for life, whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
That's always my
You
intention.
don't let them leave? Yeah.
Lock them up.
Including yourself. She's like, you're not leaving,
What is
and
this
I'm not
shackle
leaving.
on my leg? Welcome to the lab.
that's
if we
great.
like you as a person, if maybe you didn't get hired for the right position,
Sure.
we'll give you, 2 or 3 other chances
Awesome.
Yeah.
to say, okay, try this and try this.
You know what? That's a great philosophy because
So-
sometimes you're just not good at one thing, but
Yeah.
you're awesome at another.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine designing, but I love ceramics.
Yeah, in
If
her
you were
lab,
to
you can
move
kick
me,
them
I would
over to
fail.
building 3, move them over to building 1, push them down to 5.
That's right.
And we usually do.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sitting down with
No,
us.
thank
She was
you,
our
guys.
first one.
Yep, thanks for being on the board.
Thank
Yes.
Thanks for
Thank you.
giving
Everything
back.
else.
Just thanks
Yep.
for everything.
Yeah, thank you guys for hosting this, and I listen to you guys all the time.
Appreciate it.
And I actually marked them for all the information that I can refer
Oh,
back to for
good.
future.
Oh,
the
nice.
I hear
FDA
that.
thing,
That's
the
great.
FDA thing, the things that we mentioned a little bit at the panel.
Yep.
You guys
Yep.
had a host or
Yep.
a guest.
It was all
That's
FDA.
right.
While,
Yes.
while back.
Yep.
So I have that marked. So
Nice.
if I get audited, I'm calling that guy.
Oh, there you go.
Call. Well,
Probably
thank
Tim
you.
Torbenson, probably.
Yeah.
Might be. I
Yeah.
don't remember the name, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So what you guys are doing is very important too.
It's
Thank
not
you.
us, it's the guests.
Yeah.
We just talk.
Yeah.
It was also my secret hope to have a podcast.
Oh, there
At
you
one
go.
point, I don't think I ever will, but
I think you're busy enough, but maybe.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
good luck
it's
to
on
you,
the
and thank
bucket
you.
list.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We'll
All
see
right,
you soon.
thank you.
All right, super excited. It's about time you got on this damn podcast.
Yeah.
Bart. Only asked you probably 400 times in various shows and online, but I get it.
You're busy.
You're busy.
There are people who are
I'm reaching
immensely
over.
more important.
There you go.
Boy, that feels a lot better already.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like I had something sticking in my ear there for a second.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be good already.
Yeah. Bart brings that out in the
Don't
first
edit.
30 seconds.
Don't edit anything out of this thing.
So, Bart, how do you pronounce your last
Well,
name?
where are we at?
Yeah, I will in a second.
Okay.
Cothran.
Cothran.
Bart Cothran. I think everybody knows who you are, probably. I mean, you're everywhere online. It seems like you're teaching courses every day.
I stay busy. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Having a good time.
Yeah, so are you with Jensen?
Sort of.
Okay.
I mean, I do a lot of training for them.
Okay, but you do.
So they sponsor everything,
Awesome.
that I do. So.
But you're still in a lab?
Yep.
Okay.
Where's your lab at?
In Longwood, north of Orlando.
Oh, so you're local.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So talk about your.
It's a good thing. My computer broke yesterday, and I had to.
You went and got it?
I had to go all the way home. I live closer to Daytona, so
Ooh,
had to go get my
that's a
little
little
one.
bit of a drive.
It was getting exciting.
Like your presentation on your computer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a little scary.
And you had it backed up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
Another laptop. Because I knew this one was going out, but, you always think, nah, it's not
Yeah.
going to go out
Not
this
gonna
time.
happen
It's
at
going
this meeting.
next time.
Yeah, yeah. The day this laptop dies on me, it's going to be sad, but it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
It was a special laptop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So tell us how you got into this whole mess.
You know what? That's been so long ago, I can't remember the details that clearly.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm in South Georgia.
Okay.
Tobacco
That's
farm.
where the accent's
Tobacco
from.
farm.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm about as southern as they get. And so my father died when I was close to like 17. And,
Oh, wow.
And my mother had relatives in Sanford, Florida. And we moved here.
Okay.
And I was going to, at the time it's UCF now, but
Yes.
it was FTU
Yep.
back those days. So Florida Technological University.
Okay. Just
Anyway,
switch
so
some letters
yeah,
around.
they switched everything around, and it's a whole lot bigger than it was. So I was going to school there for chemistry and hanging drywall on the weekends, down at the beach because they were building. That was about the time when they were building condos everywhere. And so some guy moved down from New York. He was a German. He was a technician.
Sure.
And he was looking for just somebody to help. So I went in there and checked it out, and I said, "Hey, this is for me."
Really?
How did you know?
I just knew, man.
Yeah.
I knew if he paid me and I was inside, I was good.
Especially in Florida.
Exactly. It gets hot.
Yeah. So what? He took you under his wing?
Yeah, he did, and I really started liking it because this was doing a lot of gold work back in those days, and and doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did removable, and then he ended up retiring totally, and I went to work for a prosthodontist in Orlando.
Oh.
And so I learned.
Prosthodontist.
That's where you learn.
They are a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you
Har.
learn everything there.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty much.
He was not the friendliest guy, but I mean, maybe it was me. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. My work ethic wasn't what it's supposed to be.
Sure.
But yeah, I still learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it was I look back on it and say, man, that's probably one of the most important.
How long were you with him?
About 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I
And
bet
then
you
I-
saw a lot of cases.
Oh man, I saw a lot of all kinds of crazy stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of techniques that we don't even do anymore.
No,
you
yeah.
know, all that stuff. Then I opened up a lab and had that for 28 years.
28 years.
And
wow.
then my wife said, "You got to do something. You got to,
Why? Because you were stressed out all the time?
all the
or-
time.
Yeah, and
all
you were
the time.
probably living
And,
there.
Yeah, about 14 hours a day was
Yeah.
a decent average day, and then the weekends and all that kind of stuff. And
What
So
kind
what'd
of
you
lab
do?
was it? What kind of lab was it?
it was just fixed,
Fixed. Okay.
fixed. But you kind of style yourself as being high end, and
Yeah.
and then you take on a whole different set of responsibilities.
Oh,
and
sure.
stuff when you do that. So that was like a doctor couldn't see the case unless I was there, And that any time away from the bench is lost
so
money,
bad
Yeah.
and so stressful when you
So-
got to do that.
Was it just you or
Just no. I had one lady that was helping me.
Okay.
and she was. I called her the last of the great waxers.
Really?
Because
I know one of those.
I'll tell you, man. There's just nobody that knows how to, wax monolithic anymore.
So she waxed,
Yeah,
you
she went to
finished?
Baylor. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went to Baylor, and there was a program there at the time, and they really taught them how to wax. They taught
Interesting.
them about occlusion. They taught them.
Morphology.
They taught all the
Yeah.
basics, the stuff that you should know now,
Yeah.
but most don't.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a good. If I, I only could look at myself. I mean, when businesses kind of go under, it's management usually. So I'll be honest.
But you said your wife said, enough.
Yeah, because she had more of an objective look at things than I did.
Yeah.
You get too vested. You get
Yeah,
too,
you're
you
too
take it so
passionate about
personal.
it.
Yeah.
Every little crown that's a remake or something. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Then what?
I went back to school. I was going back to school.
You went back to school?
Yeah, I just like education, period. So I went back to school for a little bit, and then I saw, I needed some money, just to keep going. And I saw this ad in the paper. They needed somebody to layer some porcelain, so I said, I'll do that on the weekends. And then that just turned into a whole big whole thing. And that 18 years later, I'm still at that place.
So you're a ceramist.
Yeah.
Does that roll you into the MIYO?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So when did you discover MIYO?
Yeah, right at the beginning. I like to think that I'm a practical person, and when you see that the way things are going, everything is going monolithic, zirconia.
Yeah.
So, and for good reason. There's good reasons. I mean, it's getting better and better all the time. It looks great. When multi-layer came out, we said, oh,
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So, the days of layering porcelain, even though I still do it and I really enjoy it, I like to sit there and just do my thing.
Jam.
Yeah, just put a book on or listen to music and just, nobody bothers me and I don't bother anybody. But those days are, that is a lot less than it used to be.
Yeah.
Because doctors, they see the benefits of, no chipping, no breaking, and no delamination, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted something that would still look like a crown, and I tried everything. I've tried them all. Like I give credit to Luster Paste because, it was the first.
So when you say you tried them all, you're talking about like glaze and stain kits?
All kinds of systems, yeah.
Okay.
Even the liquid ceramics is what I'm really referring to.
Okay.
Sure.
And so this is just the best one for me.
So you discovered MIYO while you were working at this other lab?
My job is to match single centrals.
Oh, wow. There's no pressure there.
Yeah, right.
Do you do it 10 times or 2? Or 1?
As few as possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so I was looking for something. I used the old staining glazes that that were available at the time. And so when that came out, I said, man, we got to try this. And never look back. It just works, What you put on is what you get,
How was your adaptation to it? Was it easy or?
No, there was a little bit of a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just slow at learning, period. So anyway, it took a little while. And at the level I'm at now, that took a few years.
Yeah.
So we can make crowns now that rival layered, in my opinion.
So walk me through those colors. Like if you're going to do the incisal edge of a single central, obviously,
Okay, well,
give me like
you'll understand this more than most because you have a lot of experience with this. It's all about contrast. It's all about high value next to low value. So that's how way you plan your crown. If like on the incisal edges, mesial and distal, and like where your developmental grooves go in, that would be low value. You either use cobalt like on the edges, the mesial and distal incisal edges, you take it right to the edge. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you might use slate or smoke, whatever the gray is that you want in the developmental grooves, and blend it real well. Okay. Then I can even achieve a real transparent look, not translucent, but transparent look with this new material. It's called Night.
Night?
Night. It's black.
How new?
It's fairly new, like in the last 6 months or so.
I gotta check it out.
6 months, maybe a year, but it's really good stuff. And you put that in there, and then you run it all to the edge, and then you go back with their halo material, like spring halo, and then paint that on, and it pushes stuff back.
Huh.
And so you get that real contrast, that real pop. So
did you just by trial and error?
Yes,
just see
a lot of it. But then there's a lot of those guys like Choi and we just had Kite at the lab Thursday doing a course.
Wow.
And humble guys, man. You just want to learn from them because they're just so humble.
So with you in the lab, they still bring in Kite?
Oh yeah, I did the low end last year, and I like that way. I want to see new guys. I want to see new stuff.
Interesting, yeah.
What's your lab now? Where are you at?
Winter Springs.
And you just doing single centrals all day long?
Oh no, no. I do. I mean,
that's what he specializes in.
Yeah, that's what
That'll drive you crazy, though.
Yeah, that will drive you nuts. No, I like hybrids and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So
I like doing pink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All these kids coming up now, man. They inspire you. Like Amanda and all those people.
Yeah.
Just good times.
Just
because we collaborate. We talk all the time. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing there?
So other than coming to Florida to do table clinics, what else do you do for Jensen?
I travel a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be, let's see, well, I got to do DS World in September, but in August I go to an office in Denver, and then I go to a lab in October in Edmonton.
Oh, Edmonton. Steve Edmonton's a good dude.
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not Edmonton lab.
Jeez. I just got handed another bottle of wine.
How
Thank you. 4.
Jeez.
It's not my fault. I'm good. I'm a good ring tosser. Sorry to
There you
interrupt.
go.
Bart.
No, that's all right.
That's
So-
what happens when you're live.
Winter Springs is totally supportive of this.
Oh, yeah.
Of you going out. And
Yeah,
training and-
Jay's a good guy. You
Yeah.
know, he's
Jay Black?
yeah, Jay.
Wow.
Yeah, Jay's a good guy.
Yeah.
I've been with him 18 years. You know, we started the whole digital thing back when we went to Patterson. You know, for the whole CEREC
Yeah.
thing.
When it all started, yeah.
So I mean that you kind of read the writing on the wall. You know, analog is gone, and
Oh, yeah.
you better just accept
He was
it.
an early adapter.
Yeah.
Like, I remember him training us way back when and helping us work out all the flaws and things. Smart guy.
Yeah, he's real good at that kind of stuff. So, you know, I mean, you just have to, you have to accept things the way they are. You know, I mean, last thing I wanted was digital, but
Last thing I wanted was digital, and
course.
now I love it.
I know, but
I didn't like dealing with the single dies
Yeah.
and the model, not being able to, have removable dies.
I remember within
and
the
drove
last
me-
6 years you complaining
know.
about digital models.
Now
and
I'm
you can't
such a
stand 'em and-
fan.
But once
Can't
you
live
once,
without 'em.
yeah, once you get into it, and you really accept it for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
then you're fine.
Yeah.
But that acceptance thing was tough for me.
Well, we talk about that a lot, that we don't really like change.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
heard that several times this
Exactly.
weekend. But then once you finally maneuver yourself to do that and your thinking changes, you're all in.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Well, you said an office. Do you work with dental offices
Yeah.
also? So they have the system on their single
They
crowns?
have everything. They have more than everything.
Yeah. They
So you
love
go
to
in
buy
there
their
and work with their
toys.
assistants?
Yeah. Mainly it's like surgical centers, and it's for higher end doctors,
okay, that
who
makes a lot
really
more sense.
want to put out a really one that rivals what we would do for them.
Are they putting pink on their temporaries? MIYO can't do that, can it?
No, temporary.
Okay,
That's like composite stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, some of them do.
Yeah.
But some of these surgical centers are putting out 4 to 8 arches a day.
Oh.
And
They must have a technician in
they've got one place I was just talking to somebody about just a few minutes ago. They've got like 6 doctors who are just cranking, and they've got one guy that takes care of all the mills. He's a ExaCAD guru.
Yeah.
He's really good. And then they got 3 ladies that's all they do is MIYO all day long. And their structure, and when you do something over repetitive, you either really suck bad, and they get rid of you, or you get really, really good.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and all 3 of them are damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, I see their work, and it's pretty. So.
Yeah.
But isn't that because you trained them? So
Well,
you were
the
able to go
initial
in there and show them?
the initial part, where you have to get it locking into your brain that this is how you do it, this is how you apply structure. Yeah, that part. But after that, once they learn it, then they just improve their technique.
Take away.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I respect that. I mean,
Is it easier to teach a clinical staff or a technician?
hard teaching technicians for me anyway.
Come on, Elvis.
It's hard, you say?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult sometimes.
Really?
For clinicians. Or
No, he said
technicians.
technicians.
I have a harder time with technicians.
Really?
Because we don't want to change.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason.
Really?
Old guys, old technicians like me, they don't want to change. And they're going to continue if they're layering pink porcelain on a arch, they're going to continue doing that. You're not going to change. So
Yeah, but that just looks painted on, doesn't it?
no, not really. I mean, it's
The layering of it takes hours.
it takes such a long time.
Really?
Oh, my
Yeah, it takes a
God.
long time, and there's a lot of variables in there that can go wrong. But MIYO is the CTE is so, you can put it on anything, and it's not going to.
Sure.
So you talk about the structure. Which part? What do you like about the structure? The pink or the
Oh, yeah.
incisal?
No,
what do you do with
I
the
don't.
pink? Talk about that part of it.
I don't. A lot of these guys put structure enamel and window on the teeth, and it looks awesome. But I feel that I can achieve something comparable, just monolithic, and without as many problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. It's done. But you can't achieve a good pink just when you talk about Elvis. When you talk about painted on, if you just put the color on and
Yeah.
you leave it, that looks painted on.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
But
and I'm
once
like,
once you put that structure material on there, which to me is just like porcelain, just like
It is.
chewing gum porcelain, you stick
So
you put it
nice.
on there, and then all of a sudden you have depth, and you've got so much glass on there. Even though it's like maybe a tenth to 2/10
jumps right out.
Yeah, it's still, it makes
Wow.
everything underneath pop. That's
Yep.
right.
That's
So you
cool.
mix some of those structures
I do.
and layer it just like you would.
It
And
depends on how I feel that day.
do you get it? Really? I bet it does.
It does.
Do you
yeah.
try to do it in one shot, or is it a couple different firings?
No, it's one shot.
or-
It's usually
really?
one
'Cause That's
shot.
a lot of
Yeah, on teeth.
a lot of space.
On teeth, it can be a couple because you have like a pullback from the incisal
Yeah,
edge or stuff
that
like
makes
that,
sense. Yeah.
or you get little bubbles.
Yeah.
I hardly ever get. I don't know why, but like on the gingival, I hardly ever get any bubbles. Maybe it's just because
I
of
don't
the
think
mass.
I've ever gotten bubbles with
Yeah.
structure.
Does MIYO bubble?
That's what we're structures,
yeah.
but I've never seen it.
A lot of
personally.
times it comes with the mixing. Because
Yeah,
you'll-
you gotta
you'll-
like flatten it
yeah,
down
you gotta,
a little bit.
You got to really flatten it out.
Yeah. Get rid of all that
So
stuff.
what you do is you trap bubbles
Yep.
if you don't manipulate it first.
All
And
I
then you
know
smash
is
'em.
I used to do QC, and it'd be so.
My
bubble.
dad was a pit freak. He drove me crazy. He could spot one, and then he would send them all back. So I'm very conscious of not getting them because I see it makes people crazy. It makes me crazy. But, yeah, so I learned to just smash it down really nicely and apply it just so. So, yeah.
And I a lot of them don't, but I infiltrate my pink.
What does that mean?
That means like with coloring liquids,
Oh.
like pink, and just in the gingival. I don't do the teeth, but I do that because if you've ever had to grind on one, or if a doctor grinds on it and you don't have it infiltrated, there's no way to patch that. You just can't patch it. It'll always.
Is it
look
a little
bad.
lighter?
The pink?
Yeah. If
Yeah,
they,
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a lot
if they
lighter, and
adjust
it's got like a circle. I mean,
Yeah, so you can see it.
Yeah, it's terrible. So,
Interesting.
but when you infiltrate, if you put a couple, 2 or 3 coats of pink on there, then it absorbs enough to where that doesn't happen.
Nice. I'll remember that.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
good tip.
And you talk to the guys over Oregon and all that, they'll tell you that it doesn't do anything to your centering ovens because they've got apparently they've got some sort of documentation or something that says so.
It doesn't mess up the centering oven? Is that
No,
what
the
you're saying?
elements, yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, Bart, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you sitting
Well,
down.
I'm glad we finally did
Yeah,
this
it's about
thing.
that time.
Now every time I see you, I won't have to duck.
It was painless.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
And I learned a bunch of stuff, so thank you as well.
You can teach me a bunch of stuff.
And I learned what I already didn't know.
just reemphasized it.
Yes.
well,
all right.
thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Bart.
Good luck to
Appreciate
you.
My
it.
pleasure. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye. He's a past president also.
Oh, my Lord.
Past president.
It's good old Fernando DeLeon. DeLeon. Fernando DeLeon.
Names is not Elvis's.
It's not.
point.
Here we are at the FDLA Jensen Dental booth. Talking
Thank you,
to
Jensen.
probably, in my eyes, the staple of the FDLA show.
Wow, that's a compliment.
Every time I've come to this show, and it's probably, maybe my 5th time,
Easily.
you're always there. You're always active. You're always friendly. We've had dinner a few times. You're a good dude.
Elvis.
And Elvis said to me, "Go get Fernando." And I'm like, "I'm on it. Let's go."
I really enjoyed give time to the industry that he has been so good to a lot of us.
Yeah.
We have known with Barbara and Elvis for a little while, and like Elvis said, I have been attended to this show for
How
many
many years?
Probably.
Think back. Were you like
I have
when you were
been
younger? Like how
coming
young?
to this meeting for about 28
Yeah.
years.
28
so.
years.
Did you
Out
know
of
my
the
dad?
60. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember your dad
thought
very
so.
well. Actually, I met him when I was doing courses and lecturing for the Captech company.
Captech.
Oh my
Yes, way back then.
How'd that go for you?
I met your dad was just starting the lab,
Wow.
almost at that time. And this industry really has been, like I said a couple of seconds ago, very good to a lot of us.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have to put into the industry. That's what
so
I
do
like.
we.
The continuing education. I have lectured for several companies, not just in the U.S. but internationally. Thanks to my Spanish language too.
Oh.
Which I love
And,
that dual, right?
So
You
that's
go
able to
both
take
ways.
you to Spanish-speaking countries.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
Like
we have
Mallorca.
done, we have I have done a lot of webinars for Latin America.
Nice.
Wow.
And it's been really a great time for me.
When you
on
say
this slide.
webinars, like what? What are you doing?
Lately I've been doing a lot of lecturing and hands-on courses for the ADITE company.
Yeah.
I'm a KOL for the company. I was
Nice.
one of the first 10 KOLs in the world.
Really?
Good for you.
I was very fortunate because that changed my mind of how I do my work nowadays. When I started looking at zirconia was back when lava came in the market. And if you guys remember
I
how
remember lava.
ugly it was.
And Enceram.
Yes. And you could not make it look good.
Yeah.
It was one of the... It
But
was kind of a
white.
nightmare.
It wasn't gold.
Yep.
It was white.
It was a white metal, right?
Yeah.
That's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
Then I step away from it. The reason why is because the aesthetics. And I was trying to get more into higher end aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
And then when
So
I
you're a
got...
ceramist, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love me some ceramists. You know that, Elvis.
I
Yes.
do know
High
that.
five.
a friend of mine told me that we are not artists. We are copiers. Because we are
Did that
trying to
insult you?
copying nature.
Ah.
And copying nature is not that easy. It's very complex. I think that our engineer upstairs is the best engineer there is.
Yeah.
Because a tooth is so unique, internally and externally. But how we have been able to look at it in a different way with glass, basically,
Yeah.
and trying to mimic it and trying to get the light transmission and translucencies and refraction of the light through the different colors of powders.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you people do that.
And
It's so insane.
I'm
to me.
mesmerized. And Elvis is like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
How do you use powder to get translucency? What?
yeah.
Guys
And
are
now
nuts.
with all the new materials,
Yeah.
luckily we understand
Yeah.
light transmissions.
Yeah.
Because we used to deal with 1 millimeter of thickness. Now we are dealing with tenths of a millimeter.
Literally.
And it's
Trying to make
not
it vital.
that easy.
What to do with it.
Yeah,
What do you add to it?
yeah,
How do you fire it?
yeah.
Like so much to
But
it.
the materials, like the zirconia, for example, that is one of the most used material nowadays in the
Sure.
in the industry.
I do hear a lot of really good things about it. I'm just saying.
Me
ADITE
too.
is what we're talking about,
ADITE,
correct?
yeah.
Well, I was talking in general, but ADITE, yeah, I think is one of the prettiest and most stable zirconias out there.
Interesting.
And it's all because the process that they utilize to when they pack the material and they run it through an oven. It's like a 40-meter oven that they run it, and they keep it exactly at the same temperature. How they do that, I have no clue.
Wow.
But how they engineer the material is very unique. Is other materials out there in the market that are very similar, but they are not as consistent, especially in color. What we are trying to do nowadays is utilizing the color in the background to make our life easier, but also so we don't have to use that much space to create the optical illusion.
Are you
that
talking
we
about
were
like
thinking.
pre-shaded pucks?
Yes.
So
Yes, the multi-layers.
not mentioning ADITE, but other companies, if you get an A2, the pucks are different?
Yeah.
Really?
They can be different in the saturation of color, but it's all in the process that they have
Oh, yeah.
through the sintering of that, or the putting together the puck.
Would you get different shades of that A2 within the same puck?
Yes, you can.
Oh, man,
It all
that's
depends
rough.
the quality of the material that they are
Yeah.
using. For example, ADITE is a material that is made out of 100% Toso powder. The Toso powder, if we don't know the material, Toso is the finest particles found in zirconia,
Yeah.
and that's all they use for this material.
Yeah.
There's a couple other zirconias out there that are doing exactly the same thing, that are using that powder. Now, is not just the powder itself, but how much ytra it's put in.
Yitra.
Yeah, we hear
The
that quite
ytra.
often. Yeah.
The ytra,
Yep.
It's like filler,
gl-
right?
well, is a more translucent zirconia, but it gets weaker.
Yep.
more you get, weaker it gets.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh,
We're
damn.
about to be podcast
Oh,
bombed.
yeah.
Hi,
It's
but-
Paula Fucarino. Holy shit.
ex-first lady of the
She's having a good
FDLA.
time.
Whoop, whoop.
there you go, Paula. You
Paula spent
are
about
the life of this
$100.
show.
She spent about $100 on the ring toss,
But I have
everybody's
to
winning.
share a secret here. My husband is very smart, but I'm fun.
I agree with you.
And that's really more important than being smart.
I think so. I think so.
And
That's
you're
what I said.
beautiful.
You are the life of this
And
show.
awesome.
I get so excited.
And it's fun for all of us to watch you, honestly, 'cause
Yeah.
you're pretty special.
And in case people that are listening to this that didn't know, Morris Fucarino was a Hall of Famer at the Vision meeting
Yes,
in January.
he was.
Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop,
We gave him a
baby.
shout out.
We
We gave him a
know
big
it.
shout out.
Actually,
Awesome.
Morris is one of our heroes
Aww.
Thank you.
because he is not just a great technician, but a good person.
And a great friend.
Yep.
And an awesome
And he's
husband.
smart, I hear.
And his name's Sugars.
And he's the
actually.
best husband in the world. I got to go shoot the ring.
All
Bye.
right,
Bye.
That's what you call a photobomb.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
And just like Paula said, gotta be fun.
Gotta be fun.
You know.
So
And
back to you.
that's another reason what I do.
Yep.
I grew up in Guatemala.
Okay.
I went to dental school.
You were going to be
To
a
be a
dentist.
dentist?
Yes. In my
I don't
last
think
year
I
of
knew
dental
that.
school, I was doing some practices with patients
Yeah.
in my PROS program. And I got a patient, an older patient with a denture, and I tried to take the upper denture out, and I could not get it out. I grabbed my fingers,
How
tried
come?
to pull it.
Was it like
And I couldn't.
stuck to his... Ew.
Yeah.
That sounds a little gross.
I asked him, how
when's
long
the
has been
last
since
time
last
you
time
took
you took
this?
that out?
Was it fused to him?
I don't remember.
Ew.
Oh.
That's
So I
gross.
have to basically
you're like
yank it out.
Fernando out.
Tissue grew over it, probably.
Tissue, calculus,
Yeah.
food,
Oh.
all kinds of things underneath.
Is that when you're like, not a dentist?
Now there's a
And
story
that
for
was
the
not-
podcast right there.
That was not.
There's all kinds of people screaming right now. That's gross.
That was not all. The smell of that acrylic.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That drove me away.
Yeah.
But since I was a little
You were
kid, I
just
wanted
like-
to be a dentist.
Dad, I'm not going to be a dentist. He's going to bleep that out. But
That's
yeah, I'd be
what-
out. Barb out.
That's another reason I don't do removables. I have always done crown and bridge because the smell of that acrylic.
Yeah.
When I have gotten some denture or partials at the lab to do fixed restorative, and I have smelled a little bit of that acrylic, it reminds me of that day.
And he wants to go.
So what did you do? Did you go to...
I
So then you
I
switched
told
gears.
my dad, and I said, listen,
Fernando out.
This
I
funky
don't
mouth
know
just-
if this is for me.
Yeah.
And he said, you got to do what you like to do. If not,
Good
you're
for
never going to
him.
do it 100%.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to kill
That's
me
great advice
because
from a dad.
paying
Yeah.
for
that.
so many years in dental school. And
You were probably scared to talk to him, too,
Yes.
weren't you?
it took me about 2.5 months before I told him.
Yeah.
And
I
the
bet.
reason I have to tell him is because one day he said, oh, I got to give you the check for the tuition for the school. And I said, no, you don't.
No, it's good.
What, you going to pay for it? I said, no, this is what is happening. I was shaking.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
then
it's
is when
tough
he told me,
conversation.
do what you like to do. So
Best
I
advice
said,
ever.
I think I would like to do laboratory because one of my cousins was already a dentist, and he told me that's just another way to practice
Are there
dentistry.
schools for it in Guatemala?
Not of laboratory,
Oh, okay.
but it's great dental schools.
yeah.
And so I found a program here in Orlando. So I end up coming here, and I
So you left Guatemala to come here for school?
for school. Yes.
Is it McFadder?
No, it
Oh.
was called Southern College.
Okay.
Oh, that's where you went. So you
That's
moved
where-
to the States
Yeah.
to go to school at Southern
Mhm.
College.
Yeah.
They're no longer, correct?
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
So that was a dental technology
Yeah.
2-year program?
2-year program.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you
Uh,
breeze through it because you already been through dental school?
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
I didn't have to study anything.
Sure.
But you just knew
just the
that was
practice.
for you?
Yeah.
You were like, I switched gears and I love
Yeah,
this. And
I
you fell
said,
in love
this
with
is
it.
it.
Yeah.
This is it. So I worked in a laboratory for 9 years
Here in Florida.
here in Orlando,
Yeah.
and then I opened my own 26 years ago.
26
Yeah.
years ago.
And it's been a really rewarding career. And
yeah.
it's all because my dad, he always, if you didn't have a smile on your face, he will put it on.
Wow.
So that's another reason that put in my head when I was a little kid that I wanted to be a dentist, because becoming a dentist, or now that I'm a technician, what is the best state of mind of a person? Is happiness.
When they're happy and grateful.
How you show it.
You're right. Yep.
Smiling.
Yeah.
But how many people don't smile because they are conscious
Scared
of
of their
how
teeth.
their teeth
Yeah.
look?
Yep. A lot of people
Exactly.
do.
Or,
Yeah.
or go like this, cover their mouth.
Yep.
So by putting that smile or that ability for that person to be happy is no money to reward you in the heart. So if we can do that, you can change a life of somebody in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
I think that is the best thing about what we do.
Yeah.
Is that emotional tie to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And if you really get it and you see it and you feel it, it's just nothing better.
How many times you have been able to be chairside when they are putting your work in somebody's mouth and you
get
see
to see
those
that
tears.
quite a bit, right?
And their eyes come back to life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
crazy.
You get to see that
you
often.
see that. Oh,
I
yeah, I
do.
do. Yeah. I definitely see it a lot of my work. And, man, I
Yeah.
tell you,
Me
it's
too.
just like
It's
heartstrings right there.
yeah, it's an emotion, internal emotion and satisfaction that you're doing something for somebody.
So how many? You said there were 4 people in your lab? 7?
No, I had one time 8 people.
8?
Now I only have one lady that helps me do models.
I bet that's a
No.
lot easier, though, isn't
And-
it?
Oh my goodness!
Sometimes, and I love people, guys, just saying, but it's tough
It's a guy that
managing.
told me something and stuck in my mind, and you probably know him. He used to own TLC. One of the owners before.
I need more.
The Learning Channel?
I'm like, give me more.
Bill Lehman.
Uh,
He was very tough to work for.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that the name of the lab, TLC? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
okay.
Wow. No, I don't know him.
Tooth by Lehman and Kaysen. That's what
Okay.
those 3 initials
yeah.
used to be. After I opened my lab, one day I went to a restaurant and I saw him there eating lunch. And I went to say hello, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And the lady that took over as a manager of that lab when he sold the lab was there. And she said, he said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Okay." And she said, no, Fernando has done very well for himself. And the first question that he asked me was, how many employees do you have? Because the employees are the ones going to give you the headaches, not your account. It's the employees.
There's
that.
truth to that.
So
It's-
now that I have
the accounts give you a
just
headache
one,
too.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
They
but
text me all day long.
but it's easier to manage them than manage somebody that you have in your house.
Oh, 100%. You're not responsible for their livelihood. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of what my journey has been in this industry. Not just by being in the AACD. That
Yeah.
was one of my eye openers to
You got into
wanting
the
to do.
AACD?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I started going in 2001, and
So, yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, for sure.
the FACD,
How do you
being-
get better?
What's the FACD?
the
Florida
Florida
Academy
Academy
of
of
Cosmetic
Cosmetic Dentistry,
Dentistry.
is just
Jinx.
like an annex of the AACD.
Yeah.
And
Does every state have one? I don't think
No,
there's an
it's
No.
only
Indiana.
Florida and AA.
Yeah.
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 Indiana, we don't have any high aesthetics.
And then the FDLA that has been a big part for us.
And this is 60 years. Like, this is a
60
big
years.
deal.
Yes.
Like, and this association, I just like to say, is super strong. Ton of people here.
yes.
And,
And
you've
I-
got to preserve exactly
There's
what
not
you have.
many regional
I know,
meetings left.
I know.
No.
I mean, organizations.
But
know.
through the years, this is always been on the top. on the top. I will say the top 3 in the country.
Yeah.
And now, of course, is the top one. Is
I just
got
to say. So there's a 60-year-old banner.
Yep.
And my dad is on the bottom left.
Oh.
And my sister's on the top right.
You're
so
not
I took
on
a
it?
picture of I was never the president. So both of my family members were presidents.
I didn't know
my sister.
your sister was.
And so I took a close-up of my dad and close-up of my sister and then a close-up of the board and sent it off today. Obviously not to my dad, but to my sister. And I'm like, that's so cool.
It is.
That is so rich in history. You know?
It was very well thought, that banner,
Yeah.
I think.
It's only
really-
presidents on there? I didn't realize
there's
that.
a lot of different things on there, but
Yeah.
it just so happens that
I think I barely see myself in there.
You got to find it for me, and we got to take a picture of it. You're
When were
a
you
past president.
Yes.
When were you
exactly.
president?
I was president, I believe, was like 7 years ago.
7 years ago, yeah. So I
Yeah.
didn't go to that meeting. I know that.
How did that go for you? Did you enjoy it? You said you enjoyed it, so I know you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it was, I went away, and then Dory, Sartori's,
Yeah, Dory.
she called me last year and said, hey, would you like to be in the board again? And I said, Dory, just because you're calling me,
Does a cat
You're
have
back
an
on the
ass?
board?
I'm going to be back on the board.
Nice.
So I came back last year and this year.
Yep.
Can you become president again?
I could if I wanted
Would you
to.
be the only two-timer?
That's a
Probably
goal.
it would be.
I
don't
think you
it's
should do
any-
it.
That's so
anybody else.
crazy.
Yeah.
You
I-
should
Well, you know,
totally
if you
do
still
it.
have it in
Yeah.
you and you love it,
Yeah,
do it.
I love it.
Because there's nothing like
it's
it.
because what I said. I like to give back to the industry that gives us to eat every day.
Yep.
Well,
you know.
basically, during Barb's panel presentation, we keep calling it panel, but it's not. We talked to Enja and you two were basically doing the whole participation thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
Alex kept running over. All right, Fernando, I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
well, I think that part of, and you probably feel the same way, Barb, being so many years in this industry, we have seen so many changes, and we see the rapid changes nowadays. And we go back to our old days and start looking at what we used to do, what is happening right now, and what's coming. It's kind of scary in a way, how fast it's changing, because for 10, 15 years that I was in, I didn't see many changes.
Not like
but then,
now.
all of a sudden, it's like one after the other.
Every time you blink.
Yeah. Every time they...
What's that one time we podcasted and the biggest thing was the electric waxer and everyone's like, oh.
Right. Yes.
Now it's like every time you turn around, it's something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hardly ever use a waxer anymore. Believe it or not, I still do once in
So,
a while.
tell us about your day-to-day. So are you into, what are you doing mostly?
Mostly.
Melanadite, I think.
Here goes Paula again, spending more money.
Yeah.
Damn, man. She's got to be in for $200. Sorry.
My
Little side view.
day-to-day now is I've been doing, like I said, a lot more digital. It's enjoyable.
Was that
in a
hard for
way.
you to move into that?
It was hard, I guess, because we humans are creatures of habits.
Sure. 100%.
And is something that is hard to change. And there comes that old say that says it's hard to change an old dog.
Yeah.
And that you know the things that work for you for so many years, why to change it? But you see the industry, and you don't want to miss the train.
Yeah.
As long as you still have the energy for it, you
Yes.
better be on that damn train.
Yes. And that's what made me start going into it.
Yep.
But if I didn't got introduced to the ADI company and their material, I probably would have stayed longer in the analog side.
Sure.
And it's because I saw the
Well,
changes
how did you
right away.
get introduced to it?
Nick Asara.
Oh, he's a good dude.
He called me one day and said, hey, can you come over? And I want to show you something. So I went.
And he lives in Orlando,
Yep.
right? Okay, so he's close.
So we always have very good communication with him because we've been very good friends for years and years. And he said, would you like to be part of this? It's a new material here in the States. It was only here for a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, why
Hell
not?
to the yeah.
So I start working
where
with
I
it,
pulled that
and
from.
I'm like, whoa, wait a second. This is totally different
Yeah.
material than
Why do
I
you
have
say
seen.
that?
Because the translucency of the material, the
consistent
colors, the easy way to work with it.
Does it mill better? Easier?
Easier. Believe it or not, I have tried several zirconias.
Sure.
And it has saved me in buying burrs.
Oh, yeah?
Because I can mill 200 units easily with one set of burrs.
Damn.
Also, the material behaves very well.
Yeah.
The only thing, like every zirconia out there, you don't want to be grinding at high speed.
No.
Period.
After you sit
or a disc.
They all have limitations. And that's one thing that a lot of us don't put attention to. Because a lot of people say, oh, but they break, especially bridges. But a lot of people don't realize how you cut glass. You grab an instrument that has a diamond tip, and you score it, and you break it.
Yeah.
Okay. When you grab a diamond disc, right in the proximal, you're telling that bridge, hey, here's where I want you to break.
That is probably the greatest analogy I've ever heard for after sintering adjustments on zirconia.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Exactly. And if you have to do it, do a minimal and do a slow speed.
And don't spark.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Don't spark it.
Underwater is better.
Yeah.
But if you start seeing sparks like Barb said,
you're in trouble.
Stop.
But the
Actually,
sparks
the
are
patient's
cool.
in trouble.
Yeah, because it might not break in the lab.
Yeah, it's going to break
But a few
eventually.
months later, a year later, doctor is calling you.
Yeah.
For sure. Hey, this broke. I thought that they were strong.
Yeah. I saw a video.
1,700 megapascals
hit it with a
later.
hammer.
Yeah. But
Just
also, how much adjustment they have to do.
Yeah.
How
they gotta
careful
cut
are
that sucker
we?
Off.
How careful are we to really produce a good occlusion where they don't have, or contacts where they don't have to grind anything? Because when they grind, they grind.
Yeah.
They are not
grind
careful.
the shit out of
Exactly.
It. They're not
and they
looking
go
for
at high
sparks.
speed.
They're just going for it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
More sparks, the better.
Uh-huh.
They like
I'm going to
'em.
get through
Exactly.
this fast.
Yep. Unless I'm
It's chair time.
broken.
Yep.
So that's another thing that we have to learn, how to work the materials. I always have said, if you learn how to use your materials, how to use your instruments, you got it made.
Yeah.
Because
True.
you know the limitations. A lot of people don't understand limits. And we as technicians, we're one of our worst enemies.
We are.
Because we can do better than the manufacturer that tested it for so long, that knows the pros and cons, but we can do it better.
Yeah.
We
They
can
have it
tweak
under. They put it under a machine that does the same thing over and over and over to test it, and we're like, nah, I can break it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But it's been a great for me. And
Well, you still seem super passionate.
Yeah.
You haven't lost a luster. No pun
We're going to be
intended.
president again.
At all.
well,
You should.
We'll see.
You should.
We'll see.
Two-timer.
Well, time will tell, they say, right?
Yeah.
You might be the first two-timer ever. That's kind of
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
I say go for it. You look
Yeah.
in your eyes. I can look in your eyes. I think you're going to go for it.
Do
I-
it. Do
I-
it.
Actually, I was thinking
great.
about getting into the treasurer position because it was open,
Move up. Yep.
but it's taken now. But maybe next year.
Yeah.
So
You got all the time in the world, babe.
exactly.
High five.
I feel young still.
You
There you
do.
go.
You look young still. Well, thank
Fernando,
you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Glad to
And,
have you sit down.
I think that both of you are doing an awesome job with this podcast because it's needed out there to understand what everybody goes through it day to day, or new techniques, new materials.
Oh,
And
God, yeah. For sure.
I'm very honored to be able to chat with you
Well,
guys.
thank you.
Awesome.
We appreciate
We're happy
your
to have you
time.
on, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good luck.
We'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you again when you're president. Okay.
All right.
Yay!
So you better hold up for
We'll
another
be
3
here.
to 4 years.
Oh, we will.
We'll be here. Thanks, Fernando.
Well, thank you.
A huge thanks to Jensen for allowing Elvis and I to set up in their amazing and super busy booth at the FDLA meeting. What a great meeting again this year. I've been going to this meeting for probably over 25 years, and every year it manages to stay fresh and up to date with all that is going on in our industry. We really, really love to hear about labs that continue to adapt and grow, and it sounds like Enja and Sakr is doing just fine. And it was nice to finally get to the MIYO man himself, Bart. If you're wanting to take your ceramics to the next level, go get Bart to teach you a few things. He knows the material. And Fernando, thanks for being a good friend to all the industry. I love that you love the FDLA so much that you're going to do it again. We need people like you. Your passion for what you do is very inspiring and contagious.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. And we will talk to you next week.
Have a great week.
Bye. Who talks about intimate... Jesus, fuck.
It's the name that's throwing you off. All right, try again.
The views and opinions expressed on the Voices from the Bench podcast are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the host or Voices from the Bench, LLC.